Today in this video, you're considering home coffee roasting as a hobby, and I want to share with you some things you should be thinking about before you start your journey. We're going to be talking about the learning curve that's involved, as well as the investment that you will experience. And then lastly, we've got some additional considerations that are going to make things easier for you to get started, things you should be thinking about that not everybody talks about when we get into the hobby itself until it's too late. My name's Mike, and here at the Virtual Coffee Lab, I've been sharing my experience with roasting coffee at home for several years now. I've got hundreds of videos, but my personal coffee roasting journey with specialty coffee has lasted, 13, 15 years, something like that. And it's been a really rewarding experience. The coffee that I'm able to roast is a very high quality, and I believe that you're capable of doing the same thing. I'm not saying that to brag, I'm saying that to let you know that it's possible to roast very good quality coffee such that you'll be proud to share it with others and you'll really enjoy the experience. Having said that, let's get started with our first point, and that is that there's a learning curve. This is not a really easy thing to do to get a really good or exceptional outcome. Honestly, you'll be able to roast coffee fairly easily with a hot air popcorn popper, and you may consider that some of the best coffee you've had, because quite frankly, a lot of the coffee that is being sold at a store is not specialty coffee. It is commercially roasted coffee in mass batches. It's a low grade of the coffee itself. So you're going to notice some big differences. The other thing you're going to be able to do is to roast it to a level that you enjoy. How dark do you like your coffee? But there is, like I said, a learning curve, and that curve involves everything from understanding the roasting process, which we talk about here on this channel, the process of the coffee going into the roaster, applying heat over time, and then events that take place during the roast, and ultimately some of the ways that you can control your roaster. These are coffee concepts, introductory concepts that you're going to have to learn, and then you're going to build on those concepts where we start to get really specific about how you can craft very good quality coffee during the roasting process. But there is a learning curve, and it takes time. And there are steps that you need to take. So it takes patience, it takes some watching and reading books and watching videos and talking with other people. All of those things are very helpful, and it will help expedite the learning process. But it is a learning process, and you need to be patient. Another factor in the learning curve is understanding about the beans, the coffee plant itself, and how they differ from origin to origin, from region of the world, from variety. That there are different types of coffee plants, and all of these things impact how the coffee is going to taste, how it's going to roast, and ultimately what you experience in the cup and during the roasting process. So I think learning about coffee it's fun, it's enjoyable. We find that we direct ourselves towards our favorite types of coffee, and that's a good thing. Today I just received a book that I purchased that is just about coffee varieties, and I'm looking forward to reading that and learning more about how coffee varieties impact everything, like I just mentioned, from what we taste to how they roast. Even how the coffee is harvested and processed make a difference in what we're going to taste in the cup and how the coffee is going to roast. So prepare yourself for some learning when it comes to this. It's fun, it's enjoyable, it's interesting, but it can be a little overwhelming, and that's why you get started with a particular coffee that you enjoy, you learn about it, you start to roast with it, and then as you can control your roaster and become familiar with the roasting process and get a quality of coffee that you're really enjoying, you start to roast different origins, and you'll see how they are different. And it's a fun experience, but it's something that is going to take some time. As part of the learning process, one of the big factors is consistency. That is probably the largest challenge for a home coffee roaster after they learn about the coffee and they learn about the roasting process, is being able to repeat their roasts. There's a whole series of things that you'll want to do: taking notes, logging your roasts, setting your roasting equipment up to have the same temperature at the beginning of the roast, and using the same inputs over and over so that you can have a consistent roast and a consistent result in the end. And like I said, that seems to be one of the biggest challenges that I hear people talk with me about and ask questions about. And then the other really fun but challenging experience is to stretch our interests, our comfort level when it comes to the type of coffee that we like. I mentioned that there's a lot of different types of coffee, but there are a lot of different ways to roast the coffee and to different roasting levels for different brewing purposes. So this is where the coffee hobby really chases that rabbit and can go in all different kinds of directions, because you may be somebody that really enjoys espresso, or you might be somebody that enjoys a really light roast filter coffee. Well, you'll probably be roasting the coffee differently, or you should consider roasting it differently based on the brew method and the roast level. And this is another factor in learning how to roast coffee. Not only are you trying to understand how to roast coffee, the general concepts, and you're trying to do it consistently, but you're trying to control the roaster, but now you're intentionally changing some of the ways that you're roasting this coffee based on brew method or roast level. I guess you could say it's a never-ending learning process. Even professionals are continuing to learn and enhance and improve their skills, from sensory skills to understanding roasting concepts on even a greater level. So it's a never-ending hobby that you can continually grow into. And I just want you to be prepared for that, because it's not as simple as flipping a switch. Now, if you're interested in literally finding a coffee roaster and flipping a switch and having the coffee roast for you and not learn any of this, that is possible. There are roasters that do that. We're not going to be talking about that here in this video. There are roasters that do that. I have some upcoming videos that will be including that type of concept or that information and those roasters. I'll literally be showing you and roasting on these types of roasters so you can understand what it is that's involved in flipping a switch and letting the roaster roast the coffee for you. So stick around for that one. Okay, next I want to talk to you about the investment that's involved and the cost involved in roasting coffee at home. You may have already started to do some research and stumbled across this video. I have probably 7 or 8 different roasters here that I use all the time, and they range in price anywhere from $50 all the way up to about $4,000. That's a lot of money. And if you're just learning how to roast coffee, or you haven't even started roasting and you want to start somewhere, I would highly recommend that you go and get a cheap hot air popcorn popper and you experiment and see what the coffee roasting process looks like, and that you experience what that coffee tastes like. If you have an idea of the type of roasting that you want to do and the type of roaster that you might be interested in. Some people are interested in air roasters that produce small batches. Other people are interested in drum roasting, and they want something that's larger, that they can easily share larger quantities of coffee, or maybe even sell this coffee at a farmer's market and eventually use that roaster as a sample roaster, because they're going to invest in a large commercial style roaster that they're going to use to produce a lot of coffee weekly. These are the things to think about before you make an investment. I have a video that deals with finding the right home coffee roasting machine for you, and I'll have a link in the description for that. It is a very helpful video. It gives you an idea of a few of the things to consider buying your first roaster. how much control you'll have, what happens with the mess, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit, as well as the smoke and the cost and the ease of use. So all those things are in that video. I'll have a link in the description. You should check that out. Along with the actual roaster, there's a lot of accessories that you're going to want to use: measuring cups, scales, pitchers, stirring spoons, bags, Ziploc bags, things to store your coffee, all of that. And we'll talk about coffee storage in a little bit. All of that stuff is an additional cost. And if you had no idea, yeah, you're going to roast coffee. It's going to sit for a while after you roast it for quite a few days. So you're going to want to have it be able to be stored, and then you want to enjoy that coffee. So you're going to need to grind it because you've got whole bean coffee, and maybe you've been using coffee that's been ground for you. So you're going to need a grinder. You're going to need a brewer. How are you going to brew this unless you have coffee equipment already set up for you to grind and to brew? And then lastly, there is the green beans themselves. I've heard people say, oh, it's cheaper to buy green beans than it is to buy coffee in the store. That may be true, but you're going to be buying greens and you're going to be paying for shipping. There's an additional cost. And I think in the long run, it is still a cost savings, especially when you compare the quality that you're going to get. I mean, that is a huge factor. So I would encourage you to start to do some research and start to look at some of these coffee sellers. You'll see what it costs, and you'll be able to figure out what kind of a savings you'll save compared to store-bought coffee. But ultimately, again, this is a hobby. This is not just a factor of dollars and cents, right? This is something for you to enjoy as part of a process, and then be able to enjoy the coffee as you drink it. There's a couple other factors too as far as the budget goes. One is you're going to be buying storage equipment, as I mentioned, things like airtight tubs or containers, Ziploc bags, maybe even coffee bags. Some people even create their own labels, and they enjoy crafting and roasting their own brand of coffee and drinking it. Even though they're doing that at home, it's just part of their hobby. It's something that they enjoy doing. And I've done that too. It's fun to be able to geek out a little bit. And it's cool that this hobby allows you and has room for even some of those details like that. But those things cost money. Labels cost money. Bags cost money. So you should start to make a list of the things you think you might be interested in using. All right, now for the special considerations. These are things people don't often talk about, but we need to talk about them because roasting coffee at home can be messy. It creates smoke. It creates chaff, like little flakes of skin from the bean that come off as you're roasting it, and it can get all over the place. So if you think you're going to roast coffee in your kitchen, that is a possibility. That is something that you can do, but you want to have good ventilation. For those that are buying something a larger piece of equipment, maybe like this roaster back here, you can see I've got a vent. That is something that you're going to want to think about, is ventilation. Maybe you'll even want to have a dedicated space that's not in the kitchen, that's designed as a workspace just for this hobby. That is something that a lot of people do, but it takes planning, it takes preparation with ventilation, and it takes a place that you can have it be safe while you roast, so that you can't, I don't know if you can see it in the scene, but I've got a fire extinguisher right here so that if something happens during the roast where a fire starts in my roaster and you have a prepared and safe place, generally speaking, it's a very safe and rewarding hobby. So think about that as part of the consideration for getting involved in this hobby as you plan which roaster and where you're going to roast and the ventilation. Hood fans in a kitchen work great. So if you have a small roaster that you can do that with, that is going to be wonderful ventilation. If it recirculates and it doesn't vent outside, that might not be so great. I know a lot of people that roast in their garage or outside. Some people are using DIY type roasters inside their barbecue. That is kind of their roasting environment. It's safe. If something happens, they can, it's not inside the house. There's a lot of things to consider, but ventilation, safety, All of those things are really important that you really need to be thinking about. All right, and the last thing as far as other considerations go is the wonderful resources that are available for home coffee roasters. This is a hobby that has a lot of helpful people that are willing to take time to help you if you have questions. The good news is that if you land on a specific roaster, there's a good chance that there is a specific community that is out there, like a Facebook community, that will help you, and others are experiencing the same challenges or the same experiences in their roasting hobby with that roaster. That's kind of a quick start for you. You've got some people that you have something in common with, immediately the same type of roasting equipment, and face the same challenges. So that's kind of a unique and wonderful thing that is available, and I would encourage you, once you do land on a roaster, to start to look for a specific community. There are people that put out videos other than myself that put out very good videos that are very helpful, but you will hear different opinions. You'll have people that may have a different approach. I always say my way isn't necessarily the only way to roast coffee. So you may get a little confused because one person is telling you this and you're hearing somebody else say something different. Some of this is trial and error. Other is doing your research. So you need to be able to learn and not just copy, right? It's good to be able to watch somebody else do something and use those concepts to experiment with your roasting equipment. But you need to just be sure that you're going to hear different opinions, and that doesn't mean somebody is necessarily right or wrong. And also you need to find a community that you're comfortable with, of people that are helpful, where you can get good information. So I don't have specific recommendations for you. I think you should experience it all and find a place that you can land that is going to help you get started in your hobby. As always, you can leave any comment or question that you have, and I'll do my best to answer it. I'm here to help you in your journey with the home coffee roasting hobby. Thank you for joining me today. And if you do start roasting, I hope you have a great week roasting. And if you have questions, I'll see you in the comments.